Painful milestone. That number, 600,000 deaths from COVID-19 here in the U.S., one of which was the dad of 27-year-old New Jersey nurse Danielle Crespo, who our very own Linsey Davis spoke to on this show in May of last year.
That's right, and we wanted to check back in with Danielle, see how she is doing today. Danielle Crespo is joining us. Danielle, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And if you will, start by talking to us about what this past year has been like for you. You not only lost a father, but you were also a healthcare worker right there on the front lines, caring for so many people who couldn't be with their families. Just give us a sense of what this year has been like for you.
Good afternoon, guys. This past year has been one of the most challenging years of my entire life. Starting my new career as a nurse, but then also losing my dad, who was a first loss that I ever experienced. This year was tough, it was challenging, but it was also a year full of growth, which is kind of like bittersweet. I've learned so much about myself and, what I could personally handle and go through. And I think nursing, in pair of losing my dad to COVID, kind of worked in my favor in a sense, because it kind of made it more rewarding, kind of giving back and taking care of my patients, especially during COVID, when all of us were scared, nurses and our patients. And, it was just overall a year of growth, both personally and professionally.
That is beautiful. And Danielle, I was reading, I know not everybody believes in signs. I actually just finished reading a book called Signs, about getting some sort of a sign from a loved one who's passed. And I was just reading that you have had that experience over this past year, and it's a beautiful one. Would you mind sharing what you've seen since your dad's passing? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I too have heard stories, and other people share their stories. And, I wasn't even expecting it, but I had a moment, and it was actually after a really tough, hard shift. And I was in my car, and my car is like a bright blue color, and I live in like a very urban area. And I remember just seeing this red cardinal, like bright red. And I looked over and I was like crying, and I was like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful bird. I've never seen one in person in my life. And, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, what is this bird doing here, like in my backyard? It was so random. And I went up, and a few moments later, I looked it up, and it actually, they say that a red cardinal appears in moments of stress, distress, to kind of encourage hope, and to, that things are going to get better. And they also appear when a loved one is visiting us. And after that, I was so convinced. I'm like, that was my dad being there for me in a moment where I really needed him the most. And he loved birds, and it was just such a beautiful bird in that moment. And then it happened to me 2 more times after. So I'm fully convinced that it's him, or at least a message from him when I needed it the most. And my siblings are so jealous because they haven't had that experience. But I'm so lucky because I truly believe in those things, and I needed that from him. So it was a blessing.
Danielle, my grandfather just passed, and the red cardinal thing has happened to me too. So when I read that, I was like, wow, I agree. And I think it is this beautiful feeling of hope and knowing that they are still with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Danielle, thank you so much for sharing that, and for all that you've done, all that you continue to do for everyone. We appreciate you giving this moment of hope and this beautiful moment of reflection about what we've lost, but where we go from here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.